It is July 9th of 2026, and this is the Court Gallery. Coming up, we start with a homeless man who tells Judge Middleton his one big advantage of being in jail is that, well, at least he's not homeless anymore. Then, Judge O'Donnell gives a 21-year-old with a teardrop tattoo a highly structured chance to turn his life around, but the details of this defendant's past are staggering, and the judge has a few things to say. We end with a habitual offender whose final rambling plea to the court might be one of the worst strategies you'll ever witness in a courtroom setting, and Judge Hunter's reaction is exactly what you'd expect. This is what happens when a lack of good sense lands you in court, and it all starts right now.
Hello, Sergeant Herman, Judge Middleton Cohen. We're going to try to get a jump start on our jail arraignments. Keith Stickley is here with me. So could I see Alan Gallagher and Skylar Wood? All right, thanks. Bye. All right, that'll free you up for this afternoon. It looks like I'm going to get Judge Patterson's 1 o'clock final pre-trials.
Okay.
And then I got my own, so it's helpful if we can do this now rather than 1:30.
I got a lot of reporting to do for the last quarter, so we're good. The only thing I ask is that if you could just clearly let them know that as far as bond goes, if they want to talk to me beforehand or whatever, we might have to break out or I can log in or something.
Well, Shayna handed these to me with like 1 minute notice, so let's see what I can tell. Probably not in my queue. Well, he was homeless. Now he's graduated to unhoused. Oh, he made threats to the police officer and he said he did not intend to show up for his court case if he were released. Good morning, sir. Are you Alan Gallagher?
Yep.
I'm Judge Middleton. I don't know if we've met before. I think you're new to Three Rivers. This is file 261282FY. This is an arraignment on your warrant. Also here with me is Mr. Keith Stickley. He is the Chief Public Defender. And you can see him there in the screen. You got charged with resisting and obstructing a police officer. The allegation is, let's click on it. On July 7th on North Main Street, they reported to a suspicious situation. The people wanted you to move off their property and you told the police to fuck off. You'd move after you smoked. So then they ended up having a little bit of a scuffle and they took you into custody. And you did the dead man thing where they had to drag you into the car. So they charged you with resisting and obstructing a police officer. And that's a felony. It's punishable by up to 2 years in prison and a fine of up to $2,000. So you got arrested on the 7th? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Been in jail 2 days. Where are you from originally, Mr. Gallagher?
LaPorte, Indiana.
From where?
Indiana.
Indiana. I got it. Our Dean Taylor, he said, Indiana wants me. Maybe they don't want you. Anyway, we got a problem with homeless people disturbing downtown Three Rivers, which is degrading the quality of life. One of the things that, according to this, is said to the officer is if you got released, you weren't going to show up for jail or for your court. And that it's a concern, but I need to set this for what's called a pre-exam conference because it is a felony charge. So I'm going to set a pre-exam conference for July 21 at 8:30. And preliminary examination needed for July 28th at 1. I'm going to appoint an attorney. Attorney Jordan Harden. She'll be thrilled about this. What part of Indiana are you from, Mr. Gallagher?
South Bend.
All right. If I were to release you from jail, have you got someplace to go?
No. Nowhere.
All right. And I'm concerned about what you said to the officers. Threats. You also said you weren't going to show up. I'm going to set the bond at $2,500 cash or surety. Your conduct wasn't really all that terrible, mostly just disrespectful. But I'm not doing a PR bond because of the threats you made to the officers and your statement that if you were released, you wouldn't show up for court. As a condition of this bond, you shall personally appear for any further hearing, including the pre-exam conference on July 21st. You shall abide by any judgment entered in this case. You shall not leave the state of Michigan. Although maybe you might fit in better in South Bend. Do not commit any crime while on bond. Provide contact information, including email and telephone number upon release. Do you have a driver's license?
Nope. Nope.
All right. No assault or threatening behavior. Curfew barred from Main Street, Three Rivers. The merchants are just beside themselves. People are afraid to go downtown. Are you under treatment from any mental health provider or anywhere?
No.
Well, when's the last time you had a job that you worked somewhere?
Forever.
All right, so you never worked?
Nope.
That's probably related to why you don't have any money.
No,
right,
what's
well,
related?
Say that again?
What's related to me not having any money has to do with my stepfamily. My stepfamily screwed me out of the money I had.
All right.
I was adopted by them. They screwed this. I don't know how much money.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Because my stepfamily.
All right. Let me recap. Your bond is $2,500 cash or surety. Doesn't appear you're going to post it. So you'll be in custody until July 21st. Your attorney, Jordan Harden, will come see you at the jail, discuss this case in preparation for the hearing. So good luck, sir. I'll see you on the 21st of July.
At least I'm not homeless.
That's true. It's expensive to smoke when you're homeless. All right. A few days in jail might do him some good. eat some nutritious food and sleep and shower and have a place to stay. The Tom Petty line, the drunk tank in Atlanta is just another motel room to me. I think that's his status. I don't know anything about his criminal record. He's just a poor soul. There's no criminal history in here. I just started seeing him. He also has a I thought he had another case, perhaps not. Let's look up Mr. Wood. Like I said, these didn't end up in my queue, which is a pain. And again, there's no criminal history. How am I supposed to set bond without a CCH? Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Gallacher, he's homeless, hopeless, and I set a $2,500 PR bond and appointed a lawyer for him.
Okay. Did you order him to pretrial or no?
No, I didn't. I don't believe he's going to post bond.
Okay.
His last word to me was, at least I'm not homeless.
Okay. He spoke to me yesterday when I was at the jail and I met with him. I would not say it was very pleasant, but he did answer some of my questions, so I took that as a win.
All right, I did learn he's from Indiana. That's about it. And he got cheated by his stepfamily out of his money, so I don't know too much about him. There was no CCH or anything in there. I did these early because I'm doing the jail arraignments today. The magistrates aren't available. Mr. Stickley was here. He's got stuff to do this afternoon, and so do I. So we just went right from arraignments to these jail arraignments. So
Understand.
well, we're waiting for Skylar Wood. Let's call. All right, we're ready for Skylar Wood, if you can wake him up. Oh boy, sorry about that. He wasn't too bad when I dealt with him. Yeah, all right. Is that him yelling in the background? All right, thanks. All right, bye. All right, bye. Our last defendant wasn't doing too well. And he's in a restraint chair and I can hear him yelling and screaming in the background, so.
Indiana?
Yeah,
Oh, well,
I think South Bend would be a good place for him.
he's not homeless now.
At one
So
point,
they
he
got-
was in the Detroit area because he has failure to hear from over that way.
Well, I didn't. We're on the live stream and I didn't want to engage with him too much. Obviously, he's not doing the greatest. Sounds like he could use some mental health services. Maybe we'll get Lauren to see him. It wasn't the world's worst resisting, but as you know, they've got homeless people populating Main Street, which is causing distress. Good morning, Mr. Wood. This is Judge Middleton. I'm here with Keith Stickley, the Chief Public Defender, and I'm here to arraign you on your criminal charge of attempted auto theft and B&E a vehicle. Let's talk about this.
I do have a question about that.
All right, well, don't ask me any questions yet. I'll give you a chance to speak. But I'm just telling you what the charge is.
Yes, sir.
The allegation is that on July 6th, you were stealing stuff on Portage Street. He did attempt to commit the offense of taking a car. They charged that as attempted auto theft. That's not right. It says a 5-year felony. Attempted auto theft is a 2.5-year offense. The other charge, breaking and entering into a vehicle to steal property, is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. The allegation is that you were on Portage Street on the 6th of July and you broke into a couple cars, messed up some lady's entertainment system. They have videos of it.
Don't make any statements right now, sir. There's nothing you can do to help that out. Let's just get through this process and get a bond set.
All right.
All right, so here, these are felonies, so I need to appoint an attorney. I'm going to set a pre-exam conference for July 21 at 8:30 and a prelim if needed for July 28th, 2026 at 1. You also have a pending disorderly person charge. That is set for 7/16 in front of Judge Pattison. All right, let me ask you a couple questions. There's a different branches of the woods. There's all the woods that live out at Roy's place. There's some other woods that grew up on Wood Street. Who are your parents, Skylar?
My parents is Carol Hemingway, Carol Ballou, and Daryl Wood.
Right.
I really wasn't trying to mean no harm at all. Like, I wasn't trying to steal no car or nothing crazy.
All right, well, all right, let me stop. Don't want you to say much. Do you live on Azaleum Drive?
Yes, sir.
Who lives there?
My father does.
All right, that's within walking distance of where this business went down allegedly. Are you employed?
I had an interview like right something.
Where was that?
It's with MTI Milk Factory. My father works there.
All right.
I wasn't expecting to be sitting or nothing, so I apologize about that.
How old are you?
I just turned 19.
How far did you go in school?
10th grade.
Which school?
I went to Three Rivers and then I did Link Learning, which is kind of like an online program. I've been trying to finish it through there.
I think that's a good plan. Have you ever had a job?
Yeah, I've had a couple jobs. I actually just moved back from Portage, so I had to quit my job to come back to Three Rivers. And then kind of.
What did you do in Portage?
Excuse me?
All right. Well, this ain't exactly the serious crime, but it's just upsetting to people if some guy's out in a hoodie at night breaking into cars. That's a good way to get shot. You don't have anything much in a criminal record except this disturbing the peace that's pending. I'm going to set bond at $2,500 PR with Daryl Wood's signature.
Can I ask something?
Yes,
Would that mean he would have to like come up and sign his signature for me to get out?
yes. If your dad
Okay.
doesn't trust you to get out, I don't. I know your dad.
I just
Um,
want to
and so he's gonna have to sign your PR bond.
I was just gonna try
Now,
calling him before he has to go to work or anything.
all right, well, your next court date is July 21st at 8:30. Let's talk about your bond conditions.
Yes, sir.
If you post a bond, you shall comply with all the terms and conditions listed in number 5, which are personally appear for any hearing. Next hearing is July 21st. Abide by any judgment entered by the court. Do not leave the state of Michigan. Do not commit any crime while released. Provide email and telephone number upon release and notify the court in writing of any change of address. Make reports to any court agency as specified by this court. You're not old enough to drink. It's a condition you not use any alcohol or controlled substances.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna do an 11 PM curfew.
Okay. And that's plenty for me. I'm not even trying to leave the house.
All right. No assaultive or threatening behavior. I'm gonna connect you to community corrections, Tiffany. When you are released, you're to contact the Office of Community Corrections by the telephone number provided, 269-535-5964. I want to know what you're doing and where you're going. I want you to seek employment.
Alrighty.
And Father Daryl Wood shall sign PR bond.
Sir, you put an 11 PM curfew on there till what time?
He's probably not an early riser, 7 AM. All right, if your dad will sign your PR bond, you're gonna get out. If not, you may sit there until July 21st. I suspect he'll sign the bond, but I want him on it. PR bond means you don't have to put any money up. It stands for personal recognizance. You also have a pretrial here at the court on July 16th on a disorderly person charge. All right. And I don't want you out prowling around people's neighborhood. Someone's gonna shoot you. Cars allegedly got racked up. So I want you to get out, look for work, not get in any more trouble, and contact your lawyer because your next hearing in this case is July 21st.
Alrighty, sir. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you. All right. He does not need to get in any more trouble between now and his next hearing. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, sir.
All right, those would normally have been done by the magistrate, but the magistrates have got other obligations today. Thank you, Mr. Stickley, for sticking around to deal with that.
Seated, HESSELINK.
Good morning, Your Honor. We're hearing case 26 CR 593, State of Ohio versus Isaiah McCoy. Present in court is the defendant, who's accompanied by his attorney, Mr. William Watson. We were previously here on June 3rd, 2026. At that time, the defendant withdrew his previously entered pleas of not guilty and entered a plea of guilty to count 1, having weapons while under disability, a felony of the 3rd degree. Along with a forfeiture specification. This matter was deferred for sentencing and referred to the Lake County Adult Probation Department for a pre-sentence investigation and report. That report has been prepared. The state has had an opportunity to review that report and is ready to proceed with sentencing. The state would move to dismiss the remaining counts of the indictment, and there are 81 days of jail time credit. Thank you.
Mr. Watson.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. I'll be brief. I mean, there's little to say with Mr. McCoy's history. I know it's bad. Mr. McCoy is a troubled young man, Your Honor. I believe he just turned 21, and he's had a rough life, and he's been homeless. He was currently homeless during the pendency of this case. There were preliminary hearings set out of Willoughby Municipal Court. He was in contact with me off and on. I mean, his phone, I believe, was turned off one time, again because he was homeless. But he did make attempts to address this, and I believe he turned himself in on this case. There was a warrant outstanding for him. I believe he turned himself in. He wanted to address this issue. I just spoke with him. He wants to address the pending issue downtown Cleveland. Your Honor, he wants to turn his life around. He's been sitting here for over 80 days. He's told me numerous times that he's sick of where his life has ended up, and he would like a change. I know, Your Honor, based on his history, that it's a long shot to ask for probation, but I do think a place like NeoCap would actually benefit Mr. McCoy. I think that type of a program was made specifically for people like my client here. I don't know if the court will consider that at all. Mr. McCoy would welcome an opportunity from this court if it were to consider that. In the alternative, Your Honor, I would simply ask the court to consider his age, the fact that he's been homeless, before imposing sentence. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, what do you have to say?
Stand up.
I have no excuse good enough for the actions which have put me before you here today. During these past few months, I've had nothing but time and constant reminders from my family to think back on those actions and be the loss of words for my ignorance. Of course, I'm remorseful, not only for my actions, but for letting down the people who were and still are rooting for me. One of the people being my own son, who asked when I'm coming home every time I call. I am ashamed. I worked hard, found a great job, as well as amazing people who cared for me, offering help and advice on how to live a happy life, a better life. If you were to ask me what I think my sentence should be today, I'd say whichever way I could get the best help and guidance. I want better for myself, and I'm willing to work for it. I'm willing to complete a probation, attend AA meetings regularly, and cease all drug and alcohol consumption completely. Though if you feel that prison is the answer today, I will not give up at that. I will enroll in programs fitting to me, obtain my general education, and attend classes or groups regarding abstinence. I have not made a mistake too great to affect the rest of my life negatively. I can overcome the setbacks, and I will. With that being said, Your Honor, I apologize and thank you for being heard.
You pled to a robbery in Cuyahoga County, November of 24. This says he was admitted to prison. How's that possible if the disposition was in juvenile?
Your Honor, he did get admitted to prison and then was returned to Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court after approximately a month.
Yeah, they were supposed to.
How is that possible?
How long were you there?
Don't know, but he was admitted to
You were in
Lorraine
Lorraine for
Correctional.
2 days, and they sent you back where? County jail.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be on the transport list.
Your Honor, my client just said he was transported from Cuyahoga County Jail to Lorraine Correctional Facility. He was processed there. He was there for 2 days. According to my client, he was not supposed to be transported there, and after 48 hours or so, they transported him back to the Cuyahoga County Jail.
All right. So then you went over to juvenile court. You were released I don't know when. When were you released from juvenile court?
December 18th.
All right. And what did they have you do over at juvenile court?
Nothing.
Nothing. Why not?
I'm not sure. They just
Okay.
released me.
Where did you go when you were released?
I went to stay with my mother in
Where?
East Cleveland.
And how long did you stay there?
I stayed with my mother about 5, and then we ended up going hotels.
And how long did that go on?
Until I turned myself in on this case.
You list you say you were employed with 1-800-GOT-JUNK from May of 25 through March of 26 when you got arrested. How'd you get that job?
My sister's boyfriend got the job there. He moved up from South Carolina, got the job, and he was good friends with the general manager at the time. So it got me a good position.
What did you do?
I'd go to people's houses, like book appointment. I'd go to their house. I'd quote them the job, and then if they want to do it, then I'd carry it out.
So you would follow up on a lead they got? Somebody interested in the service? Or what?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got this charge in this weapons charge in Cuyahoga. You're hard to keep track of here, you know that?
Yeah.
In December of 25. What's going on with that case?
I was told by my public defender downtown that the case was supposed to be thrown out because it's called a necessity. But for some reason, they're still trying to get me on it, get me down there.
You've had a pretty, what are you, 21?
Yes, sir.
You've been in more trouble up to this point than most people are in their life. Why is that?
I don't have any set answer for that. I can't really blame anybody but myself. I get into a lot of things that I shouldn't. Even when I'm doing right, I still find myself doing things that I shouldn't be doing. I don't know.
Who were you? What were you? What were you doing this night that this thing happened?
I was on a job and I found some silver and gold, so I came out here to a place that I've dealt with before.
What do you mean you found it?
And clean out in a basement. It was like some 14 karat gold necklaces and silver bullion. So I came out here to a silver shop. Well, I also found some forks, so I went to an antique place in Wycliffe, I believe. And
What do you mean you were cleaning out? What were you cleaning out?
it was a basement to an old house that they were renovating.
Was that your stuff to take?
It was trash. It had been thrown away regardless. I mean, there was nobody lived in the home.
Okay, so you found this stuff. Who were you with that night?
So I took 2 of the guys that work with me. They weren't there when I found it, but I took them with me out here, or to Wycliffe rather. And then we were on the way back when I got pulled over.
Okay. Why did you come out here to do it?
Because I've dealt with the place, the gold spot I've dealt with before, the pawn shop rather. But I looked up Wycliffe's antique spot to sell the silverware.
Yeah, how much you get for all that stuff?
The silverware I didn't end up getting anything for. It wasn't worth.
What about the other stuff?
I might have getting like $350.
Okay, so where'd you go from there?
We stopped at the liquor store and got a bottle of tequila, and I was driving back to Cleveland.
Going 102 miles an hour?
Yeah,
What time of night was this?
it was midday actually.
Midday? 100, why were you going 102 miles an hour? Were you begging to get stopped?
I don't know.
I mean, that was pretty stupid.
Yeah,
Of all the stupid things you've done, why don't you just put a target out there? Just paint your car lime green and say, stop me. I'm going 102. Were you drunk at that point?
yes.
Okay, there's another good idea. So how is it possible, how is it remotely possible that you're going to straighten your ass out?
I'd ask for some type of program or
What kind of program? What do you need a program for?
something to help me stay straight. I mean, when I was just released out there, I just fell back into everything. I feel if I'm drug tested regularly and stuff's held over my head when I'm out, like a slow re-entry.
You said you, at the start, when you read whatever you wrote, you were talking about disappointing, letting people down. Letting what people down? Who?
I have a best friend of mine. Well,
Who?
his name's Devin Towns. He actually owns his own clean out company. And I started working for him when I was 15. I met him at the DMV. And he's been in my corner ever since then.
How do I know he's not one of you guys? Because you've been hanging around people. Apparently, you've been hanging around people that led you to a shitload of charges through your young life. So how do I know this guy's not one of those people?
Well, a lot of the guys that have hung around were younger, my age, doing those type of things. He's not. He's he's double my age. And like I said, he owns his own business. So the only thing he does all day is clean outs or pass out cards.
Okay, who else?
Well, my family, my
Who?
mother. My mother, even though she has problems of her own,
What kind of problem she had?
she's an alcoholic. And she has bad problems when she drinks. But she's always been in my corner, no matter how messed up she was. My sister also.
What did she do?
My sister?
Yeah.
She just picked up drinking, but she was never really into drugs or alcohol. But
How old is she?
She's 20.
She just picked up drinking.
Yeah.
What did she see what you're going through and figure that's a good idea?
My mother should be enough.
Where does she live? With your mother?
My mother, actually, they just got into it, and she put my mother out. So my mother had another episode, but my sister has her own apartment on the west side of Cleveland.
Okay. Who else?
Well, my child and his mother, though I'm not with her, I still keep in contact with her a lot.
What's her name?
Her name's Ashanti.
Where does she live?
She lives in East Cleveland.
And your son lives with her?
Yeah, my son stays with my mother. Well, not my mother
Jesus,
now.
that's not a good idea, is it?
No, he stays with my sister. But my mother was taking care of him when she
How
was
old is he?
4.
How the hell is he going to get any proper care?
Me, I mean,
Jesus.
when
Who was caring for you when you were 4 years old?
my mother was.
Okay. Is this another Junior Isaiah we got coming up or what?
I'm trying. I would try so hard to stop that.
Who else in this circle of people you were talking about?
Well, I just started talking to my uncle again. He disassociated himself from the family for a couple years, but growing up, he was more of a father figure to me than his brother was.
So where's your father these days?
My father's bounced all around. He's settled down with a woman, Nashville. He got a house, but he doesn't care about any of his other kids other than the two that he has.
Where's his brother live?
He lives in Menor on the Lake. He just bought a house in Menor on the Lake.
What does he do?
He's a mason.
Okay, who else?
That's really about it.
Okay. So what you talk about programs? What programs? What programs do you need to get your shit together?
Definitely like alcohol, like a probation to keep, to keep me sober, to have something over my head, to not.
What happens when there's nothing over your head?
It's free. I don't have anything to hold me back from doing it.
That's right. Unless we put you on lifetime probation. So when you were working at this place in Bedford, how much were you working?
I worked in the summertime 12, 13-hour days, like probably get 85% of the time. But it slows down in the cold season. But even then, I'm always there. I'm one of the guys, and no matter what's going on, I'm there. Rather, if I'm in the yard, because we have a little dump yard on the side, if I'm just there running trucks to the dump or out on routes doing jobs.
How can you drive if you don't have a license?
I really wasn't supposed to be driving, but I wasn't toward the first GM. He didn't care, so I was, but he ended up leaving, and some higher ups came in, cracked down.
Why don't you have a license?
Actually, when I got out, I went to a juvenile intervention driving course that I was sentenced to from Geauga. I completed that. I obtained my temporary permit, but I was driving in Barberton with a person. He told me he had his license, but I got pulled over and he didn't have his license, and I had a temporary permit. So they took my truck and they put another indefinite suspension on my license.
What exactly is it that you want to do with your life?
Career-wise, I'm not too sure. There's a lot of things I feel I'm good at. I just want to get away from this stuff.
What's that mark under your right eye?
From the robbery that I was convicted of was actually started off as a murder. They charged me with the murder of my best friend because we were buying a gun when we got robbed, and they shot and killed him. And then I ran to Georgia, and I ended up coming back up here to be with my son and just face the music. And then a year later, it resulted in a robbery. And I got this mark 3 days after he died. I was 17 and drunk.
Okay. Why did you get it?
Because it just symbolizes a loss. So, it can either mean you killed somebody or you lost somebody.
Okay. So you think that's a great idea going forward?
The tattoo?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. I was 17 and drunk.
Okay. What are you going to do about it?
I've been reading into laser removals. But that come sometime down the line.
You list this address in Willowick. Whose house is that?
Oh, that would be another person that's rooting for me. My Aunt Holly, it's my father's adopted sister. I stayed with her when me and my mother did get into it at the hotel one time, and I left. My Aunt Holly always wants me to stay with her, but her husband's like he just doesn't really care for her side of the family.
Can you blame him? at this point, with everything you've been telling me?
I mean, he has his own problems with
All right. Well, everybody's got problems.
criminals.
You guys on the your side of the family are lighting it up so far.
Yeah.
So at some point, whether it's now or 3 years from now, you're going to be out. Where are you going to go?
I don't know. Hopefully my mother gets her stuff straightened out, so I could have somewhere to go when I get out. At least
What's the story with your son's mother?
she has a new boyfriend, and she's having a kid with him, and she's never really been like, she never had him really. My whole year in Cuyahoga, my son was with my mother and my sister.
Okay. So she's irresponsible, it sounds like.
Not completely, but yeah, she's only a mother on the holidays.
She got more interest in doing other things than taking care of her 4-year-old, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I mean by irresponsible.
Yeah.
Okay. And so far in your young life, you've been irresponsible too.
Yes.
You have a flash of responsibility by getting a job and doing the job. Other than that, you've been pretty irresponsible. And marred with making stupid decisions, probably because of drugs and alcohol and your environment. So what kind of drugs you do?
None specifically. I've done a lot of them, but
What have you done?
I've done methamphetamines, crack cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, obviously, opiates, smoke K2. That's really it.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
No, sir.
Okay, Ms. Hemmeline.
Thank you, Your Honor. As the court's aware, the defendant has a lengthy and serious criminal history. He has nearly half a dozen juvenile adjudications, many of which involve serious offenses involving weapons and offenses of violence, and that behavior has continued into the defendant's adulthood. He continues to carry weapons and commit acts of violence. This particular offense did put the community at risk. He was driving 102 miles per hour when he was pulled over, admittedly intoxicated and without a driver's license. And he did not take responsibility for this firearm when the police recovered it. He denied that it was his book bag. He denied it was his firearm.
Why did you do that?
Because the person, one of my coworkers, was gonna take up for it, but the cops, I guess, scared him into not doing it.
What do you mean take up for it?
Because he was allowed to carry, so he was gonna take out for say the gun was his, but I feel like the cops knew it was mine. Well, they knew it was mine because my wallet was in the book bag.
Right. So whose was it?
It was mine. Okay,
so why'd you try to bullshit him?
Because he was gonna take up for it. So when they were saying that it was mine, I thought they were just trying to get me on it and didn't know.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Hemmeline.
So, yes, Your Honor, he did not take responsibility for the firearm, did not submit to DNA without a search warrant. So for all of those reasons, the state is asking that the court impose a prison sentence in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. How far did you go through school?
9th grade.
Where'd you go?
I I think I finished my ninth grade credits in a place called George Junior Republic in PA.
How'd you get there?
Ashtabula. I was in Ashtabula custody, county's custody, and when my mother had lost rights to us, I was put in a group home, but I ran from there, so they sent me to a lockdown residential.
Where'd you go before that?
Um, Carrington on the east side of Cleveland on Nova Road. It's like a residential home.
All right. How well are your reading skills?
Great,
Huh?
great.
How'd you learn to read if you only went to school kind of half-assed through ninth grade?
Well, they teach you how to read in like third grade.
Well, I know, but there's a lot of third graders running around that don't know how to read. There's a lot of fifth graders running around that don't know how to read. Just because they move you through school doesn't mean you're learning anything.
I've had a lot of time to read books,
What kind of books you read?
all types.
What kind? Give me an idea.
Like James Patterson, and John Sanford, Stephen King.
Stephen King's a weirdo. That's just a matter of personal taste, but whatever. You ever read any history books?
Not really. I can think of.
All right. I've reviewed the pre-sentence report. And the letter you had sent me back in May. Listen to you, listen to counsel. I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. I'm going to place you on community control for 5 years. You're going to serve 180 days in jail with credit for 81. The last 30 days, you're going to enter into and complete the jail treatment program. You're going to follow all recommendations. Then you're going to go to the program at NeoCap, complete that program, and follow those recommendations. When you finish that, you're going to go to a sober living facility for a minimum of 6 months. You're going to get a mental health evaluation. You're going to follow all those recommendations. You're to have no drugs or alcohol, and you'll be screened. You're to go to only one doctor and one dentist and one pharmacy for any prescription medication. You're to take any medication you are prescribed only as prescribed. You're going to sign releases so probation can get your records. You're going to get your GED. You're going to obtain and maintain full employment. You're going to get a valid driver's license. Going to attend at least 3 AA or NA meetings a week and get a sponsor, and you're going to pay the costs and supervision fees. Anything else, Mr. Tompkins?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Oh, you know what? Probably clear the warrant in Barberton.
What's the warrant for?
You have a warrant in Barberton. Do you know what it's for?
Do you know, Dave?
Is it a traffic ticket?
To appear.
Yeah, that's when they took my truck when I was driving with my temporary permit.
All right, so clear all warrants. You understand the terms?
So I have 3 more months in the detention center.
Right.
And then I go to NeoCap.
Right.
And then
I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Then a sober living facility.
Okay.
And a mental health evaluation. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Well, listen, if you violate, the state will file a motion to terminate. If I find you violated, then you'll go to prison for 36 months.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I think everybody thinks I'm wrong. But we'll find out, because if you want the help's available. But whether you take advantage of it is completely up to you. And then you got to clear up the Cuyahoga case too.
Will I be able to do that while I'm in the detention center?
They could try to borrow you.
I'll be able to write a motion of availability.
I think that's, I don't think that applies here. You would know better than me, Bill, but maybe you can talk to his PD down there to see if they want to borrow him. But I want him back here for that JTP, so I don't want him to disappear in the vast hole that is Cuyahoga County sometimes.
Understood, Your Honor. I think statutorily the notice of availability may not apply, but I can reach out to his public defender in Cuyahoga County, Your Honor.
Is it somebody in the public defender's office or just appointed counsel? Do you know?
I believe it's a public defender.
Do you know his name?
No.
Okay. I can look it up on the docket, Your Honor.
The remaining charges are dismissed. Anything else, Ms. Himmelite?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Watson?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
You got the break of a lifetime. You may not think about it, but you did. He was
State of Michigan versus Dayton Harmon, file 26-44626-SM. Is Mr. Harmon with us?
I did see him.
He is. I'm asking him to unmute.
Thank you.
I'm right here.
All right, I do see Mr. Harmon now. Mr. Brown, this is your matter.
It is, Your Honor.
We have a resolution of this matter.
We do. Your Honor, this was a 30-day misdemeanor for trespass. He is just going to plead as charged.
Mr. Harmon, is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you do that, you'd be giving up your right to have a trial and all of the protections that would happen at a trial. Do you understand that?
I do.
Let me go through those protections with you just to remind you what they are. If you wanted to at a trial, you could be represented by your attorney and have him take action for you throughout that trial process. You could have a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You'd have the right to see, hear, and question all the witnesses against you. You'd have the right to get a subpoena from the court to present your own witnesses and evidence. You'd have the right to testify yourself, or you could choose to remain silent, and that silence could not be used against you. At a trial, you'd be presumed innocent until being proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and that burden of proof would remain with the prosecutor at all times. Finally, at a trial, you'd have the right to automatically appeal any error, but if you enter a plea, you'd be limited to asking the court for permission to appeal, and that might not be granted. Do you understand all of that?
I understand.
Do you have any questions about any of that?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Understanding all of that, then, is it still your desire to enter a plea?
It is.
All right, I'm going to need to take some testimony from you, so would you raise your right hand so I can swear you in? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I swear.
All right, go ahead and put your hand down. Has anybody promised you anything or threatened you in any way to get you to plead today?
No, sir.
Are you doing this of your own free choice and free will?
I am.
All right, the charge against you says that on or about June the 7th of 2026 in Corwith Township of Otsego County, that you did enter the lands or premises of Raina Lindley Brink without lawful authority, and after having been forbidden to do so by Deputy Kasdorf, who was the agent of the occupant of those lands or premises. Is that what you did? Trespass?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I did.
Where was this trespassing? Where did it occur at?
Right across the street from my home.
And where do you live at?
I live at 7972 Old Vanderbilt Road.
All right, and that's in Otsego County?
Yes, sir, in Vanderbilt.
All right, thank you. Vanderbilt, sometimes the area around Vanderbilt sometimes stretches up into Sheboygan County, so I wanted to make sure. And this premises that you went on, you knew that that was owned by or being used and occupied by this Ms. Brink, Raina Brink?
I learned that evening.
All right, and did you go on her property without the authority to do so and after having been told not to?
I did.
Either counsel have any additional factual basis questions?
I do not, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Either counsel aware of any other promises, threats, or inducements not stated on the record?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Do both counsel believe I've complied with the appropriate court rule?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I will accept the plea. I do find that Mr. Harmon has told me that proper factual basis and that he went onto the property of his neighbor, Ms. Brink, without lawful authority after having been told not to, and that occurred within Otsego County. I believe he's given me a proper factual basis and he's given me a plea that was knowing, intentional, and voluntary based on his answers to my questions. So I will accept his plea. Mr. Brown, do you want to proceed directly to sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Harmon, I'm going to ask the lawyers for their recommendations, and then once you've heard what they have to say, I'm going to give you a chance to tell me anything else that you want me to know before I decide what to do. Ms. Brucker, your
Honor,
thoughts?
Ms. Brink, Your Honor, Ms. Brink is here, and I forwarded to the court and to Mr. Brown her victim impact statement that I'd asked the court to review.
All right, let me, looks like it's a couple of pages long. Mr. Brown, did you receive that as well?
I'm just getting it, so.
All right, take a minute to review it and I'll do the same.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Brown, have you had sufficient time to review that victim impact statement?
I have, Judge.
All right, Ms. Brucker, any additional comments that you wish to make?
I think the victim impact statement really gives the court a good outline of what happened that day. Mr. Harmon had been previously trespassed from that property, and then he returned to that property. And I think the impact statement gives a little more context as to some of the additional facts that happen. So I know this is a 30-day misdemeanor, but there's a little more to it than just a standard trespass, and I'd ask the court to take that into consideration.
Mr. Brown, allocution?
Your Honor, with all candor to the court and my client, I just got this victim impact statement. It is much more thorough than the police report was. I think it's longer than the police report was. I know that Mr. Harmon had been drinking that day, earlier that day. And in the police report, I believe that he stated he went back to maybe get his phone, maybe apologize for the disturbance he called. Or caused, but yeah, the victim impact statement, which he has not had the opportunity to go over either. So I don't know what his history is. I do know that the victim impact statement did mention a few other things that were not in the police report. But again, this is a 30-day misdemeanor, so I would ask the court to consider that.
Mr. Brown, do you want to have some additional time in a breakout room to discuss the victim impact statement with your client?
If that would be okay, I could do that, Your Honor.
I think that would be appropriate. So we'll put the two of you in a breakout room. You can go over the victim impact statement with him in detail if you wish. And then once you're done with that, I'll bring you back and we'll finish the sentencing.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, I see that Mr. Brown and Mr. Harmon are back. Mr. Brown, did you have an adequate opportunity to speak to your client about the victim impact statement?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. Had I known about that, I probably would have handled this sentencing a little different or maybe even tried to move it out. But there was a 911 call apparently made that is referenced. So on a trespass, I'm not going to request a 911 call, but That would have given me a little more information probably if I would have known all of this. He was suffering from anxiety, which he suffers from a lot. He had left his phone there, or lost his phone. He was trying to get his phone back. I don't think he was trying to cause trouble, but mixed with the alcohol, his anxiety over getting his phone and other issues that he has and things going on in his life, he did some inappropriate things and said some very inappropriate things as well, Your Honor. And he did indicate to me that he apologizes for that and all of his actions.
Mr. Brown, given the extent of the victim impact statement, I would be more than happy to give you whatever time that you want to get a hold of that 911 tape or to do anything else that you want to do to prepare better for this case. So if you're telling me that that would be helpful to you, I'd be happy to. We're not in any kind of time restraints here. If it would be helpful to you, I'd be happy to give you that opportunity. If you're saying there's no need for it, I'm okay with that too. But I want to make sure that you and your client have every opportunity to have the information that you need to present to me before I decide what to do with this case.
Your Honor, again, this is a 30-day misdemeanor. Based upon my conversations with him just now, as well as going through, I don't necessarily think it's going to change anything.
All right. Mr. Harmon, is there anything that you want to tell me specifically?
Not specifically, no. It's unfortunate that this happened. And I just want to be a good member of my community.
What are you doing on a regular basis to address your anxiety issues?
Recently, I've been reaching out to a lot of friends and family and trying to build more of a support network so that when I have issues and problems, I can have the right people to talk to. A lot of my family has reached out because I was in jail for a couple of days, and it was very inconvenient, to say the least. And since then, I've definitely reached out to a lot of my family and my aunts and sisters and brothers, and they've been supportive. And I've been also in contact with just my coworkers, my boss, and just making sure that they're aware of things that are going on in my life so that I don't feel as overwhelmed.
Are you in any sort of counseling or talking with any sort of professional?
I was a few months ago. However, it just didn't really click well. I didn't feel like I got good information. However, it just was not comfortable to talk to them about everything. And so I've been recently looking for a new therapist, but I haven't made it a priority, and I can if that's needed.
Are you currently on probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
What were the requirements of your probation?
To meet with my probation officer and to abstain from drugs and alcohol.
Doesn't sound like you did that in this case.
Correct. I had been abstaining, but because there's new people on the street, they were out there partying, and I just wanted to join them, and I didn't say no that time, so I had a little more to drink than probably more than I ever do, and yeah, things got a little out of control.
Well, that's putting it mildly. The victim in this case paints a picture where they were frightened out of their minds. You got four guys and a girl in a cabin that you're terrorizing, basically, and you did it almost all night long. You got anything to say about that?
I don't believe it was all night long. I do remember the police officer coming and asking me to leave, and I did, and I didn't have any issues. I didn't resist or anything. I do think I said some things I shouldn't have said, and I never wanted to make people feel afraid. It's never my intention. I was going through a lot. I just recently had to put down a dog that was my best friend for 16 years, and I was really struggling, and I shouldn't have went over there, and I really regret that.
So what are you beating on the door and almost breaking a window with a stick for?
I believe my phone was inside, and I remember bringing it in there while we were playing cards to charge it. And then when I was asked to leave, I never received it again. I still have no idea where it went. So yeah.
The last time I checked, the easiest way to get a phone is to say, hey, I left my phone at your house. Can I have it back? Not to bring a stick and start pounding on the door and pounding the windows and calling people hugely inappropriate names.
Understood.
Anything else you want to tell me?
I appreciate your thoroughness.
Does your probation officer know about this offense?
Yes, Your Honor. I've been in contact with him regularly.
How long have you been up in the Vanderbilt area?
I moved up here September of last year. Got a job within a few days, and I've been very much enjoying it ever since.
Where do you work at now?
It's a small company out of Vanderbilt, Big North Property Services. We mostly do tree removal and pruning. It's a landscaping company.
Your criminal history tells me that you have an assaultive and weapons-related felony offenses that occurred that you were sentenced in August of 25.
Correct.
Did you do any jail time for those?
Yes, Your Honor. I spent 9 months in Macomb County Jail. It's the worst experience of my life.
And I'm scratching my head why you would act the way that you did in this case then, while you're still on probation for that offense. I mean, I got to tell you, my first reaction is you need to go to jail. Why shouldn't I do that? What's that?
I spent some time in jail, and I feel like I have learned a lot since then. I've become a helper in my family and in my community. I know all of my neighbors. The time of the incident, I was just going over there to try to get to know the new neighbors that had recently purchased the house, and I just got a little carried away. And then when things started to go sideways, I overreacted, and I was going through a lot, and I guess I expressed it to the wrong people that didn't help. And I should have went to my friends and my family instead of some strangers. And I don't have any more to say.
Mr. Harmon, you know what the word euphemisms means?
Yep. Yes, sir.
There are ways of talking and saying things got a little out of hand. And that's a nice, pretty way of saying, I really did some really bad things, but I don't want to say that. So I'm going to say they got a little out of hand. That's one way of looking at what you're telling me. The other way is The other way of looking at that is that you're not taking responsibility. If I'm listening to you carefully, you're not really understanding what you did. Because what you did is terrorize a whole group of people at a housewarming party. And you didn't do it for just a little bit of time. And then you left and came back with a weapon, with a stick, and called them a bunch of names while they were frightened of you hiding in the cabin and threatened to break into the cabin. That's what you did. Are you agreeing with me or not?
Not particularly, no.
What do you think that you did?
Well, I went over there and we had a great night, and I left my phone inside and I was a little drunk. I probably said some things I shouldn't have said and maybe made some people feel uncomfortable. I was asked to leave and I left my phone inside. The next morning, after I had slept, I came back and I was not intrusive at all. I knocked on the door lightly. I did not bang on the door the next morning while I was arrested. I went back, looked around the campsite, the fire pit, to try to find my phone and my belongings. I knocked on the door, and when nobody answered, I left. I didn't stay there after the incident had happened. The morning that I was arrested, I was on my own property, and I saw the police show up, and I was just curious what was happening because I knew I was over there the night before, and they told me that they were there for me, and I was unaware that I had done anything wrong since they told me to leave the night before.
Mr. Brown, is there anything that else you want to say?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Harmon, trespassing is typically fines and costs. I think I would be derelict in my duty if I did that in this case.
Understood, Your Honor.
Given your criminal history and the actions described by the victim in this case, you're going to go to jail for 30 days forthwith. You'll report to the Otsego County Sheriff's Department today, July 9th at 6 o'clock. If you don't do that, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest, and the police will come up and pick you up wherever they find you. You have any questions about that, sir?
No, sir.
That's all for today. 6 o'clock at the jail. Be there.
Next call is a matter of people in the state of Michigan. John Adam Gallup. This is file 25-6850FH.
The record, John, microphone back. Later on behalf of Mr. Gallup.
Thank you. Are you John Adam Gallup?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Gallup, we're here for sentencing today. Have you had enough time to go through the PSI with your attorney?
Yeah.
You need more time to go over it?
No,
I didn't understand those words.
yeah, we're okay.
But you need more time.
No,
to go through it.
no.
Mr. Brown, on behalf of Mr. Gallup, do you have any questions?
The information was in the National Guard EOD. I'm not sure what that is.
What does EOD stand for?
Close subordinate to demolition.
Mr. Rowland, adding that language.
Not at all, thank you.
We'll make that change to PSI. Any other correction?
No, Your Honor, but I'm scoring.
Mileage scoring challenge.
I did not. I didn't really think it was worth the challenge, Your Honor. It's nothing super technical or anything.
What's that mean? That's not.
It is just on an OB16. This was scored at buy for the property at $1,000 or more. Your Honor presided over this. All that was really testified to the charge was $20 and the sentiment site.
So the request for restitution is $825, right?
That is correct.
Are you challenging the amount of restitution that's being requested?
Yes, because well,
Mr. Gallo, I will ask for you to respond when I need you to respond. But when I have multiple people talking, as I told you already, during a different proceeding, I can't hear what's happening. If I can't hear what's happening, I'm not making a very good record. So when I need to hear from you, and you'll have an opportunity to be heard, I'll tell you. Otherwise, when I'm addressing your attorney, you can let your attorney speak for you, because that's what I'm asking. Mr. Brown, are you challenging the restitution amount?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't think anything was shown at trial, but we can take that up at a different time.
Well, that's fine. I can preserve restitution, but Mr. Rowland, because restitution is being challenged, you agree with me to restitution hearing.
Yes.
And you have an opposition to having restitution preserved pending that hearing?
I do not.
So I'll make an order in the PSI that restitution is preserved. You're entitled to a hearing regarding that, Mr. Gallo. But in terms of the OB 16, Mr. Rowland, did you have a chance to hear the objection?
I have, Judge. And again, yeah, as I believe we deal with this. Damages in regards to the front door being caved in and money was taken. So it's not just the knife and the sentimental box. This situation, there was damage to the building indicated as by requested by the victim in this case, Mr. That I think as that's attached to the PSI, the court can consider that. Well, I understand the defense counsel's objection, and I don't think it overrides for scoring purposes what is already before the court.
Well, what's before the court, Mr. Rowley, even if I were to accept the information in the PSI and construe it as accurate, understanding there's objection, the amount of restitution is $825, and to score 5 points, there would be a short of $1,000 in damages.
I'm sorry, Judge.
OB 16, you score 5 points. I would have to make a determination by a preponderance that the property had a value of $1,000 more.
Correct.
Total restitution amount requested even is $825.
And if it's only $825, Judge, that's obviously less than $1,000.
Well, so that would be 1 point, not 5, right? If
Correct.
That information is accurate, correct?
That would be correct, Judge.
Mr. Brown, what do you think the correct scoring is?
I have no objection to one, Your Honor. That would not change the recommended guidelines.
And that's how I saw it as well. And is that why you said it wasn't an issue? I don't remember the exact word you used.
Yeah, Your Honor, just because I thought it was pretty self-evident from the PSI.
And it would affect the guidelines. Objective.
Yes.
The court still finds it's accurate to score the guidelines accurately based on the information I have today, and because I've not yet made a finding regarding the total amount of restitution, the PSI suggests there's some damages. I'm going to score it at 1 point. It would be 200 to 1,000. I'm taking into account the fact that there's information within the PSI that the court can use by preponderance of the evidence. That's not my indication in any way that later at a restitution hearing, I'm somehow presuming because it's written down it's accurate. I'll still make that determination. But by the preponderance of the evidence standard, I think it's fair to score 1 point. If I score 1 point for OB 16 from 200 to 1,000, that would drop the total amount of OB points to 21, but 21 would still remain a 3 score. Any other corrections, additions, or deletions, Mr. Brown?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rowland, you have corrections, additions, or deletions? You have a victim that wants to allocate.
I thought we were going to, but he is not here.
For allocation on behalf of people.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a situation where it's defendant's 7th and 8th felonies. The defendant, Mrs. Course Longer, failed to appear back on June 12, 2005, well, or 2005, as an outstanding bench warrant out of Grand Traverse County, February 2026. There was a recommendation of 2 years probation with 9 months jail and 40 days credit. In this case, the defendant forced his way into a residence by kicking in the front door, fought with law enforcement, and the recommendation would be, as I see it, a below the guideline sentence. And because the guidelines in this case is indicated in this, they're 746 up to 15 years. And I see no basis, but frankly, that the court could put on the record to find the basis for the guidelines. I'd ask the court to sentence within that.
I want to make sure you and I are thinking about the same information, and I'm not perhaps forgetting some. Mr. Rowland, but I presided over this trial, and the information I remember hearing at trial with the victim is that he came home to the defendant being in his home. He gave the police the key to be able to get into the home, and while Mr. Vanderland testified that all of the things that the rifle through had gone through, And then in particular, a knife was missing that was found in Mr. Gallup's pocket. Mr. Gallup kind of having it. I don't remember trial testimony about a door being kicked in. And that's just referenced.
That's indicated in the victim's witness impact statement that's attached to the PSI.
Well, what I'm saying is I don't remember that from trial. And did you remember hearing that testimony from trial? Or are you saying it just wasn't brought up at trial because it wasn't relevant to the charges?
It would be the latter, Judge. It wasn't relevant to the charges. Again, in fact, I think if I had brought it up at trial, objection that this was perhaps evidence that is more prejudicial than appropriate.
So you think it was another bad act, and that's why you didn't seek to bring it in at trial, but you think because it's contained in the victim's impact statement, I can still consider.
That would be the people's position, yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, allocution of the applicant.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'm glad the court brought that up. I was going to mention that as well, that this will go into the restitution as well. But at trial, he was not charged with a vehicle with intent. The police actually did have to have a key to enter the residence, not to kick in the door. But Mr. Gallup has a very extensive criminal history, which I'm sure the court is aware of. He suffers from some very severe mental health issues. He had a traumatic brain injury not that long ago. He was trying to get himself help for that. It's looking to get into some sort of mental health treatment that affects his behavior and pretty much every part of his life. He did not have a very good childhood. Growing up, he had very little contact with his father. Mother was an alcoholic. He was abused. And hopefully, I think since he was 14 years old, he was placed in foster care, began abusing substances from an extremely young age, and just had a very difficult way in life. And I don't think, and I never say that people are lost causes if they cannot change, because I do believe that they can. And he had a very slim chance, and he was really up against the wall. He raised the way he was raised and what he got into, and likely the people that he did hang around with. So he also asked me to mention, again, if you wanted these specific words, I will do this for his behalf, on his behalf. He would like a downward departure due to his mental health issues. And I took that as basically being put into some sort of a mental rehabilitation facility, substance abuse rehabilitation facility, anything that might be inpatient, will affect his work, which he is fully employed now, working full time, so he does have study employment as well. I would ask the court to consider all of that information. He did mention to me that he was in Oklahoma for a while and served 54 days in jail in Oklahoma. The credit he has here is 40 days. He inquired about credit for the whole 94 days. And so I'm looking back through my notes. While he was in Oklahoma, I did receive a message from his then girlfriend stating that he was incarcerated in Oklahoma. And I believe on that same day, I did put in a request to cancel his bond so we could approve credit. I would ask for it to consider at the time he did serve in Indiana or Oklahoma, even if his bond wasn't canceled. So
I'm not going to apply credit when he's serving a valid sentence in a different state. I'm legally prohibited from serving a sentence.
I think he was just incarcerated.
Well, if he was incarcerated, that's different. So why don't you bring forth what information you have? Mr. Gallup, we might hear from you in a moment, but Mr. Brown, when do you have your suggestion that you submitted some request to cancel? Because the PSI reflects that the 40 days relative to bond revocation 8/28 to 9/27 of 25, and then 12/1 to 12/12 of 25, as well as the initial arrest 122 to 128. So it's a bond revocation referencing 2025.
It is.
So it's already accounted for with the PSI.
To be quite honest, I did not know his incarceration at that time. I was informed later by his vendor.
What appears that's already accounted for.
That's going to be.
Any other argument, Mr. Brown?
Your Honor, I know what the court has to look at and balance with these types of cases and sentencing. I would ask the court to really look at the things that were mentioned, especially regarding his mental health, get him some kind of help so that when he eventually does get out, a period of some incarceration is definitely warranted, but again, he has already served some time. So I would ask the court to concentrate on any rehabilitative efforts on behalf of Mr. Gallo.
Thank you. Mr. Gallo, was there anything you wanted to tell me before the whole sentence today?
Yes, sir. You know, I'm not a perfect person by any means at all. And I've definitely caused my fair share of trouble. And I had basically a coming to Jesus moment in November. I got cracked in the head pretty hard. I spent about 2.5 weeks in the hospital, and with bruising on my brain, and a lot has come to figure out. You know, I mean, I can't think right. I can't. It's just struggle to remember a lot of things, and I can do jail. Yeah, I can go to jail, of course. You know what I mean? That's just up to you. But if I can get some help, first time I ever asked for help. I've been arrested a bunch of times, but I never asked for help. I said, all right, let's go to jail. And this time I need help.
What help have you sought since your arrest for this offense in January of 25?
I do. I go to my strength. CMH Traverse City.
In June of 2026. Last month.
Yeah, because I just here recently. I started being proactive with all this. I finally been able to settle in a place where I can actually function. I'm not 100 miles away from everything. You know what I mean? My prior address was out in Marietta, and there ain't nothing out there. You know, there ain't nothing but quite many miles. You know what I mean? So I removed myself from that situation, and which was I was a victim of domestic violence, and went to the shelter in Traverse City, and started being proactive for me. You know what I mean? Just all on my own. I figured I need this, and I go to I have what's called pro peer counselor or something like that. Derek, the guy that founded Harm Reduction, Michigan, and did the mailbox boxes for the Narcan and all that, is my peer recovery coach. So he's only a phone call away. It's kind of like a sponsor, but busy. You know what I mean? And so I've really been taking a lot of steps to not just stay, clean, sober, fixed on the brain. You know, I got some medical issues I got to deal with. I'm supposed to get hand surgery, and I'm lining that up, and that, obviously it takes time because I got medication over there jump to it. So, and I need to progress instead of regress, and I would like to be able to not start over exactly where I got into the situation. Because if I go sit 9 months in the county jail, time served, whatever, then I'm gonna get out in the middle of winter in Gaylord again with no job, nowhere to live, and that's making it worse than it was last time. Because last time I had a place to live, I just had to get home, and I got extradited to Gaylord on a failure period without a license charge, and this conspired into all of this mess, and it turned into a mess down in Oklahoma, and I lost my kids. And I fought death like 3 times last year. And you send me to jail if you want to, but it ain't gonna help nothing. I'm gonna get out, still be retarded. You know what I mean? I don't know how to fix it. I'm not gonna get the help I need in jail. I'm gonna get 3 house and a cot and work out all day. Get out and do the same damn shit I was doing before I went in. Why not? You know what I mean? I don't know better. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, you don't seem to present in court with very many options.
You know, I don't
It
know.
should be that your suggestion is that if I put you in jail, you're going to get back out and reoffend. And so that should be the impetus for the court to somehow give you the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, that's not exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry.
That's what you just said.
I know, but I have trouble with words. You know what I mean? Like trying to describe what I'm thinking. It's brain injury. Like it's not. It comes out. It doesn't make no sense, and I need help with that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would appreciate some leniency so I can get help. I've spent a lot of time in jail, and let me think before I talk. Is that okay?
Sorry.
I'd like for an opportunity to gain an opportunity and to maintain the opportunity to be successful as I'm doing right now. I'm doing good first time in a long time. And getting over that, I lost my kids, I'm divorced. I'm just kind of doing it. Life on my own. I ain't got nobody to look after, and I got nobody to look after me. And I mean, yeah, I understand that I'm gonna need probation, and I need that. I did well when I was on parole. Okay, that I did really well on parole. I did. I just this incident, I'm not gonna reoffend because you know what I mean. That's my goal in life, is to be a better person than I was yesterday. Every day, jail or not. You know what I mean? I just hate to stop where I'm at in my program. Basically, what I got going on, and it would just stop, and I go sit in jail for a while, and fight for everything when I get out again. Waiting lists and appointments, and housing, and it's a lot of stress. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'll revert back to, getting high and commit crimes or anything like that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not, I'm trying to be proactive with my ex-wife. We actually had conversations more. Got to talk to my kids. Proactive. I don't know, man. I try to put off a better way of doing things, and that's what I want to continue to. I just throw myself at the mercy of the court to do what you feel is going to be helpful for in the benefit of mental health, and that's really the problem is my brain is messed up, and I need it to get fixed. I need help with it. I finally realized it. I'm like, I got hit in the head. I'm like, dang, light bulb came on. I said, I need some help with this. I need to change something. I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I ain't getting any younger. My kids ain't, they're getting older. I don't want to go to jail anymore. I don't. It didn't seem to do anything but just make me dependent on going to jail. You know what I mean? Like, come institutionalized. Or it's like, well, I don't have to work on it. If I go to jail, and I don't want to do that. That ain't right. It's not right to get disability either. Because I can work for a living.
There's a lot of information for the court to consider, Mr. Jallen, including your mental health conditions, including your physical conditions and your needs indicated at least for surgery for your hand. I note that you're making a request for a downward departure due to your mental health issues. I know that at least from the PSI, there's some support for your statements that you're trying to get things in order. That had an intake of links to mental health last month. This offense happened in January of 2025, and let me be clear, you have an absolute right to maintain your innocence throughout and forever. And so the fact that you didn't comment on the offense in that way means nothing to the court. But I also comment that despite the fact that you can maintain your innocence, and I would use that against you in any way, the fact is I didn't hear a single thing about what happened in this case, the case I decided to refer you. I heard about your mental health conditions, your medical conditions, and issues with your brain injury. You're entitled to bring all of that information to me, and I need to have full context. But the full context of a felony criminal sentencing hearing also necessarily involves a factual development of what happened in this case. And I presided over the case at trial. I heard the trial testimony. Mr. Vanderland was attacked regarding his memory, regarding what he did and why. But the facts of the case, to me at least, and even though you're able to continue to maintain your innocence, the facts to me were fairly uncomplicated. They're fairly clear. You went to the home of an individual where you had stayed previously. That individual, he described, was scared to have confrontation with you. And he told you to leave, and you didn't leave. When you did finally leave by force when the police were called, you had an item of Mr. Vanderland's in your possession. You denied having anything. Police found it. They matched it up with Mr. Vanderland. It was a knife that was his. It was in your pocket. And when you were arrested by police, you fought with him. You had a trial on those circumstances. I don't recall the specifics of whatever the prosecutor offered as a plea, but your decisions continue to have impacts on you. Your decision to have trial in this case had two important impacts on you. As a habitual fourth, because these are now your 7 felony convictions, that means the statutory maximum, where it was 4 years for larceny in the building, where it was 2 years for resist and obstruct, is now 15 years maximum by statute, by mandate, because you are a habitual fourth. You're a habitual substantive. The choices you made affect your guidelines range, and the court has to score the guidelines by preponderance of the evidence. Part of that was scored to your benefit today in terms of the amount that was taken. And that lessens the overall OV level, the OV score, but not the level. Your guidelines, if you would have pled or been found guilty with no habitual, would have been 7 to 23. With habitual fourth, or 7 to 46. A direct middle of that guidelines range, meaning if I was to just look at this as a middle of the guidelines type of a case where stolen from an individual, broken the trust of the community, and fought with the police, and I just looked at it as a minimum guideline, middle of the guidelines, that's a 27-month term. That's the middle of guidelines. You come to the court, though, at 43 years of age with significant background history, and most concerning to the court, significant background history of theft, ongoing since you were a child. You have 3 juvenile theft offenses, a larceny felony all the way back in 1996, an attempted larceny in a building also in 1996, and a retail fraud in 1998. And you have 4 different adult criminal convictions, some of them less serious than others, but all theft related. 2 retail fraud third convictions, an attempted UDAA, unlawful driving away of a motor vehicle, and 8 retail petty theft. Those are just the theft offenses that I counted for the PSI. Meaning this is your 8th theft related offense. And when you were called to task on it, being in the home without permission, and you attempted to resist and did obstruct and oppose the officer's lawful commands, bash your head into the back of the car, and otherwise resist and obstruct even to when you got into the jail, you did so at your own peril, to your own detriment. Those circumstances don't reflect a basis for me to downward depart, Mr. Gallo. They reflect a need for me to be punitive, because what's happened in the past with these sentences that the courts have imposed have not done anything to convince you to do things different. As soon as police got there and started telling you that you needed to leave the home of the individual that you were in, you had a basis, a legal basis to remove yourself and then to lawfully comply with police.
They didn't say that.
Mr. Gallo.
It's in the video. They didn't say that.
And what I saw.
They did not say that in the video.
Mr. Gallo, convict you of resisting, obstructing lawful commands of the police. They decided that unanimously. They decided that all 12 of them. I heard that testimony I heard what the police officer suggested, and it appeared to me to be credible, but I'm not the fact.
They didn't tell me to get up, leave nowhere,
The
man.
circumstances were that you were in a home without permission, based on Vanderland's testimony, and you fought with police when they kicked you out of there.
I didn't do this shit, man. If I was going to rob him, I'd have took $5,200 in a snowmobile and drove off, man. I
You are
didn't do
entitled to maintain your innocence, but I have to impose sentence based upon a jury's determination that you did do these things. You did commit the larceny of the building by stealing at a minimum a knife that belonged to Mr. Vanderland, and you did commit the resistant obstruct. You chose to have trial knowing the risks, and the trial has consequences, which is a conviction because a jury of your peers unanimously agreed, and heightened guidelines because you of your habitual fourth status. All of those things bear consideration by the court. And while I do have some belief that you want to be in a different position if you're headed to jail and or prison terms, I'm not convinced that this case is the one to downward depart and simply tell you to go into treatment. In the last 15 months, since you've been free on bond, you could have made those arrangements. And you didn't make those arrangements. Based upon the circumstances, the court views that a prison sentence is justified. I view that a prison sentence at towards the bottom end of the guidelines or the middle bottom of the guidelines is appropriate. 2 years in the state prison system, up to a maximum of 15 years for the larceny of building, up to a maximum of 15 years for the resistant obstruct charge as well. Guidelines in each of those cases begin at 7 to 46. Half of the maximum is what I'm instituting as a sentence, 24 months minimum. You do have credit for 40 days that you previously served. I hope that when you're in the system and when you get out, you seek the help that you're telling me that you need. But these circumstances justify reaction, not just ordering you for the treatment that you got. So that is the court's order. You will be ordered to pay fines and costs as well. Those fines and costs include a total of $130 for crime victim assessment, court costs of $325, $130 state costs. Under these circumstances, I'm not ordering attorney fee reimbursement for $350. By state law, those fines, costs, and assessments are due today. If you don't pay them within 56 days of the day's dating, 20% fee gets that done. You have an automatic right to seek the appeal. The Court of Appeals must hear your appeal if you timely file it. Your attorney can go over those appeal rights with you. The first copy, you're just going to sign to indicate that you bought the appellate rights. The bottom two copies are yours, and you have the automatic right to seek the appeal.
Rather, for the record, those rights have been acknowledged and attended that acknowledged.
You have those appellate rights with you, Mr. Gallo?
Yeah, I got it.
You have the automatic right to seek that leave, seek that application, and get an absolute right to appeal. But you need to fill out those rights within the time period stated on the form.
Yeah, it don't matter. I'll be, by the time we get to the appeal court, I'll be all right. It don't matter, man.
That's the issues. Your transportation.
All right. My phone, man. Yeah.
Straight up thing.
Well, Bill, I'll be gone for 2 years. You hear that? Love you, man.
Well, yep, I'm gonna be gone for about 24 hours. You hear that? Yeah. Wow. That last one, I'm telling you, that was something else. And I do want to say a quick, in our chat over here, we've been talking a lot about veterans and whatnot. And I do want to say a very special thank you for your service to our distinguished veterans in our chat who hang out with us like every single night because they're awesome people. There's a billion of them over there. Well, actually more like 5 or 6 at least. They can all make themselves known while I ramble on here for a moment and say thank you, a big thank you to Darth Stevens starting us off again, letting us know that we needed to get the show on the road. Thank you for that super chat at the very beginning of the show. And Purple Daisy thanking us for the content we have, and we thank you. And Wixom, no, we still don't have any membership. I see that. I see that up there. I don't think that. I've been thinking about it though. To be fair, I keep saying I've been and I, you know, tune in tomorrow night. I might have changed my mind. Come on back by and same wolf time, same wolf channel. There's a chance I might have changed my mind. Come on by and see. But until then, I want to say thank you to all of these wonderful people. Purple Daisy, Darth, Steven, Kiernoff, chatting his head off tonight. The regulars always, Northwest, Mama Rhonda, and me. I'm kind of a regular fixture around here. I don't know if you know that. I'm Lone Wolf Goose. Allie, see you there. Raven Eye, see you there. Wexham, see you out there. He's one of our distinguished. Northwest is another one. So is Rhonda. Rhonda's out there. I think I'm saying all that right. I don't know. I don't know things about people. Dan, I see you out there. Chaos, I see you out there someplace too. Wendy, what's up? How you doing? OX9DC.
Me in Washington, D.C. What would you like to know?
Oh my God. Don't talk to me, Alexa. Stop. Bye. Okay. Thank you all for hanging out. That was really weird. I don't know why she who should not be named did what she did. But for now, I'm getting out of here. I'm your Lone Wolf Goose, and I am out. And remember, only you can take a bite out of crime. Bye!